The following program is a public access production of the United Way of Cayuga County, who assumes full responsibility for its content. The content of this program does not represent the views of Auburn Regional Media Access, which serves as a forum for community expression and offers TV training, production facilities, and channel time to all Auburn area residents and organizations.
Welcome to Conversations with United Way, a series where we shine a spotlight on the people and programs strengthening our community every day. I'm Lisa Kaminski, Executive Director of the United Way of Cayuga County. Your United Way invests in local solutions that help families thrive, and we're honored to partner with agencies that are on the front lines of supporting community resilience, youth opportunities, healthy communities, and financial security. Today we're talking with Scott Sincerbeaux from Auburn YMCA, and I'm so glad you're joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Scott serves as the Executive Director of the Auburn YMCA-WEIU, and the YMCA provides a variety of services to the community, from preschool to school-age childcare, family programs to active older adult programs, and more. And their work touches so many people across our community. So welcome, Scott.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So for those who may not be familiar, can you share the mission of your agency and what you're most known for in the community?
It's really simple. It's about impacting our community and strengthening the lives of the people that we serve, from mind, body, spirit. As you mentioned, we have so many different areas of programming in our facility at 27 William Street, but we also have Camp Ayahuasca, and we do off-site programming, and we do, of course, the before and after school care program in so many of the schools around Cayuga County.
And what schools are the after school programs in?
So we have Cato, Wheatsport, Port Byron, Moravia, just to name a few.
Wow, a lot of schools. That's great. Is there a large group of families that utilize the after school program?
Absolutely, across all of those facilities. And then we also do before and after school care in the William Street facility as well. So every day we're serving hundreds of kids around Auburn and Cayuga County.
That's fantastic. It's so it can be so difficult to find child care services in the community. So that's great to hear that so many families are able to utilize that service. Can you tell us more about the programs that utilize United Way donor dollars and who they primarily serve and how those dollars are used?
I mean, we're so grateful for the relationship that we have with the United Way. The money that we get from the United Way really we put towards impacting exactly what we just talked about, whether it's scholarships for camp, scholarships for our early learning center families, scholarship for our before and after school care programs, supplies that we need for our before and after school care program. United Way essentially funds the entirety of our YPALS program at Southern Cayuga, which is essentially a mentoring program. So we're really fortunate to have the support of the United Way and the donors that come through the United Way as well to help us provide those services to our community.
Yeah, the YMCA is such a long-standing partner member agency with United Way. It's nice to hear about all the great things that you're doing. That YPALS program, you said it's a mentoring program. What age groups does that serve?
School age.
School age.
Yeah, and it's similar to what was Big Brothers Big Sisters, so a true mentoring program, and we're really proud of that.
That sounds great. Is there a story, without sharing any personally identifying details, that illustrates the impact of your work?
Sure. Actually, this just happened over Thanksgiving break. So one of the things that we pride ourselves on at the YMCA with our Early Learning Center is the fact that when we provide, whether it's 3PK or UPK programming or childcare, our kids go through, they have music classes, they have gym classes, and they also receive free swim lessons. Nice. And I heard a story about Thanksgiving weekend. One of our kids in our Early Learning Center was away for Thanksgiving weekend and accidentally fell in a pool and stayed floating until his parents got to him. And thankfully, he's perfectly fine. But, I'd like to think that what we did with our Learn to Swim program at the Y, and the fact that it's part of what we do in our Early Learning Center, had something to do with that.
Yeah, for sure. People often think that swim lessons are all about fun, but it really can be like a life-saving situation.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
great.
we try to make it fun, but it's also, water safety is a critically important area that we need to focus on with our kids.
Yes, definitely. How does United Way support help your organization fulfill its mission beyond funding?
Really, it's about getting the word out. Not only is United Way a great partner in helping us fund, but getting the word out and the collaboration that we have with the United Way, also with with other United Way partners. We are in a city where there are a lot of not-for-profits and who are all doing fantastic work. There's a lot of crossover. And using the United Way as a conduit to help us work together as an aligned group of agencies is super important. I think that's just as important as receiving contributions from the United Way.
Yeah, working together, can be so much more powerful and impactful in the community.
Exactly.
Yeah. What changes or needs have you seen emerging in the community over the past year?
So I'm back in the community after 40 years away. So there's a lot that's changed about Auburn and Cayuga County. There's also a lot that's the same, which is really nice to see as well. But from my perspective and my role at the Y, it's really about childcare. There is a significant need for affordable childcare, and we're planning to do something about it with the renovations that we have planned over time on William Street. But I would say that it's really about childcare and then finding and building programming activities for kids that are, let's say, above the age of 5 through maybe 12. And so we have some ideas of how we're going to impact that in 2026 as well. So the play space is a fantastic facility for younger kids, and as those kids turn 4, we need to find a place for them in our community as well to have fun and interactive programming.
Well, that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
You mentioned renovations. Do you want to share a little bit about
So we
what's been
announced
happening?
last week that our board of directors, after a long period of work, have decided to stay in place and renovate the 27 William Street building over time. It was an important step for us to take to make sure that we were transparent with the community and what our intentions were. A lot of background work done even long before I joined the YMCA, but I couldn't agree more. It was my feeling kind of walking in the door. I was a kid in Auburn, and in the late 70s and early 80s, the YMCA was an important place for me and a lot of my friends. And one of the reasons why I wanted to come back and help the Y in this role was to help transform it for ages to come. And I think it's going to take us time. It's going to take time to raise the money. I think, as you know, it's a tough environment to raise money.
Yes.
But our staff is committed to writing grants and raising money over time. And the beautiful thing about having a downtown YMCA is that the building is fragmented enough that we can renovate over time without disrupting the services that we provide our community. So that's an exciting thing.
Yeah.
But it will take time.
Yeah.
We've made updates to our facility over the course of the last 6 months. You were great to come over and take a look at some of the things that we're doing.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we're excited, and I think the community is starting to see what we're doing, and The good word is getting out about what the YMCA has to offer the community, and the fact that we are, working on short-term updates to our facility with an eye on long-term transformation.
Yeah, I think lots of people are excited to see what's coming in the future, for sure. What are some of the biggest challenges your agency is facing right now, whether it's financial, operational, or community-wide? I
think it's more for us, similar to everybody else. It's about the ability for us to raise money. We have an annual campaign as United Way does, and other agencies in the community, and reaching that goal is tough sledding. Yes. We also started in August a facility improvement campaign. We had a couple of angel donors donate $20,000 on a match basis. And so we were able to raise some money to help us do some of the incremental transformation and updates that we wanted to do for our members. I would say, aside from raising money, it's really about awareness in the community about what we have to offer. And we're holding next Friday, the 19th, an event, a Holly Jolly Christmas event at the YMCA. It's our first time ever doing something like this, and it's open to the public. It's not just about our membership, and we hope that by doing that, we'll spread some Christmas cheer, but also show the community what the YMCA has to offer. Yeah, it looks like a really fun event. Yeah. It does. Where do you see the greatest opportunity for growth or impact in the next couple of years? Without question, it's what I mentioned earlier. It's in childcare and in programming for school-age kids. Childcare, the need for infant care in this community is enormous. Enormous. Both in terms of finding facilities as well as paying for it. And so we hope through our transformation to be able to do that. Our kids start at 18 months. And we're hoping that over the course of the next couple of years that we expand that to include infant care. We want to do our part in the community in helping provide these services and these child care services so that families can go to work and know that their kids are being well cared for while they're out earning a living for their family. Yeah, it's such a needed service. How can community members get involved with the YMCA, whether through volunteering, donations, or helping you spread the word? We love volunteers. We love, the best way for a community member to get involved is to join the Y. We'll have some programs coming for the beginning of the year to encourage people who aren't members to come to the Y and become members. Certainly donations are fantastic. AuburnYMCA.org. We're happy to receive any kind of contribution. I think one of the things about what we're doing right now with the money that we're raising is people can see the money getting put to work in front of them, whether it's expanded programming or the improvements that we're making around the building. There's nothing that our members can't see in terms of their contribution dollars going to work for them and our community at large. If someone wanted to become a member, how would they go about doing that? Really easy. You can become a member online, but the easiest way is to stop into the Y. Our registration staff is very happy to show community members around the YMCA so that they can see what we have to offer. I think a lot of people don't realize that we have 2 gyms, we have 2 swimming pools, we have a complete fitness facility, we have a complete weight facility, we do personal training as well as what we do in our early learning center. In fact, our fitness center is undergoing a renovation right now. We are taking all of our fitness equipment that we've had, some of it is 25 years old, and replacing it with all brand new equipment, and that'll be ready for our community at the end of January. Wow. So we're really
Exciting.
excited about that. It's a significant investment. But I think people who are interested in joining the Y should come and see what we have to offer. We're more than a gym and swim facility, and we're more than one of the fitness facilities in the community, like a Planet Fitness. We have so much more to offer, and there are so many benefits that our members receive, whether it's discounted childcare or discounted camp tuition at Camp YMCA-WEIU and other programming that we offer. It's a real opportunity for the community to see what we have to offer and hopefully join us.
That's great. You mentioned Camp YMCA-WEIU. Can you share a little bit about that? Like what ages it serves?
Sure. Starting at age 6 and all the way up to high school age, because of the United Way and the contributions, we're able to scholarship kids who may not otherwise be able to afford to go to camp. Last year we served 768 kids.
Wow, that's great.
We served over 3,600 meals at Camp YMCA-WEIU. We had day camp as well as resident camp. We ran resident camp for 3 weeks over the summer and day camp for 5 weeks. It's a lot of fun to go down there during the summer and watch this. I've gone down and cook dinner for the kids, and it's really fun. It's also helped me to determine what, from a strategic perspective, we need to invest in at Camp YMCA-WEIU. And so we have a couple of pretty substantial camp projects, over the spring and early summer that we want to get accomplished before we host the next set of campers. So it's 2,800 feet of lake frontage on Owasco Lake, and a really great place for kids to come and experience the outdoors and spend time on the water, and it's really a great place to be.
Yeah, outdoor education and camp activities can be so life-changing for kids who might not otherwise have that opportunity.
It is. So. We're very fortunate. One of our former campers is now our camp director.
Wow, that's great.
And so she grew up at the YMCA. She grew up going to camp, and she went through leadership training at Camp YMCA-WEIU, and her goal was to become, when she graduated from Cortland, was to become the camp director at Camp YMCA-WEIU.
That's great.
So she does that. She's also in charge of our before and after school care programs in the schools around the Cayuga County area. It's like a whole
full circle kind of thing.
It really
is.
Great. It's great to see. And I think that's indicative of the staff that we have at the YMCA. We have leadership staff members who have been at the Y for 20, 25, 30 years, and just dedicated and committed to our community. And as a new leader coming in, that's an absolute blessing. Yeah. Because then you enable your team to do the things that they know is right and that they've wanted to do for several years, and allowing them to do that. And I think the fitness center is a great example of that. Laura Clary, who is our senior director of health and wellness, had a plan to transform the fitness area at the Y for several years, and just needed that enablement to figure out how we can do it, and to better support our community with proper equipment and up-to-date fitness equipment.
So she must be very excited.
She's beyond excited.
That's great. Are there any annual events or program initiatives that you would like people to know about?
So we run our annual campaign every year. It's coming to a close. Now is the time of year when community members make year-end donations, and we would certainly appreciate that. Again, auburnymca.org, or come into the Y and take a tour. I'm happy to walk people around, and but our annual campaign is a major source of what we do with programming throughout the year. So we certainly would appreciate that support as always.
Great. If you had one more staff member, volunteer group, or resource of any sort, what would you want most? Like, what's your agency wish list?
Really, we have 3. One is expanding our early learning center, and we have the ability to hire staff to support what we want to do. It's really about raising the money to make the renovations that will help us bring infants to the YMCA and more toddlers to the YMCA and really help the community that way. As I mentioned, programming from kids age 5, school age kids is something that's really important to us. We just received a grant from the Finish Line Foundation that will help us build a multi-generational room that will hold e-programming, so gaming and computers and computer training, and not just for kids, but for our senior members. And we hope that will spur on collaboration between our younger members and our senior members. We're going to have tutors that'll help our younger members with homework if they need it. And so we're really excited about that. We think that's going to come online in the early spring.
Yes.
But we just received word about that grant a couple of weeks ago, so we're really, really happy about that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you, Scott, for sharing your time and your insight with us
Thank
today.
you.
I really appreciate it, and for everything your agency does in the community across Cayuga County. To learn more or get involved, visit auburnymca.org or unitedwayofcayugacounty.org. And thank you for watching this episode of Conversations with United Way. Stay tuned, because after a quick break, we'll be back chatting with Caroline Dixon from CHAD. Hi, welcome to Conversations with United Way, a series where we shine a spotlight on the people and programs strengthening our community every day. I'm Lisa Kaminski, Executive Director with United Way of Cayuga County. Your United Way invests in local solutions that help families thrive. And we're honored to partner with agencies that are on the front lines of supporting community resilience, youth opportunities, healthy communities, and financial security. Today we're talking with Caroline Dixon from CHAD, Confidential Help for Alcohol and Drugs. And I'm so glad you're joining us, Caroline.
Thank you.
Caroline serves as the Executive Director of CHAD. CHAD provides clinical services for people affected by substance use disorder and is also the prevention provider in Cayuga County, offering programs, workshops, and education on substance use prevention. Their work touches so many people across our community. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So for those who might not be familiar, can you tell us a little bit about your agency and what you're most known for in the community?
I think a couple of things. CHAD's was the only not-for-profit in the community for over 50 years, providing substance use disorder services and prevention services to our county schools. And so we have been the provider for substance use disorder services. We have counselors and educators who go into the schools and provide prevention education, and as well as outpatient substance use disorder services, medication-assisted therapy, and so outpatient, intensive outpatient. We do evaluations for people that are looking for assistance from anything with just wanting help for substance use disorders or DWIs or legal referrals. We work with a lot of partners in Cayuga County. It's one of the wonderful things here is that everybody is so good at working together with Nick's Ride for Friends and Cayuga County Mental Health and the jail. We have services out at the Cayuga County Jail. So we have peer services out there as well as counselors out there. And we work very closely with Unity House, providing services to the patients in their halfway house, as well as providing drug court liaison through a grant with the drug court in Cayuga County and city drug court, monitoring courts, various courts. So we work with everybody.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a lot of collaboration going on, which is fantastic, that so many places are able to work together. You mentioned you have education programs in the schools. Are you involved in all the schools in the counties, and what does that look like?
We are. Prevention educators go out and provide evidence-based education programs to all of the 7 county schools, and we've done that forever. And the Auburn Enlarged City School District came on board a couple years ago, where we added that to our repertoire. And in addition to that, we recently developed a COSER agreement with BOCES to provide intervention counseling. So we offer services based on a contract through BOCES for the schools, where they can have a counselor from anywhere from 1 day a week or more. Auburn has 5 days a week of a counselor, and they're very busy. So it's a service that I think is very utilized, very needed. We wish we could be in all the schools. There's definitely a great need demonstrated by our students and the families. So we're happy to be there.
That's great that you're able to help families like that. That's fantastic. Is that for all ages in the schools, or?
It has been, yeah. Initially, we started out junior high and high school, but we're getting elementary school referrals as well. And so we're very grateful that the United Way supports some of our prevention programs.
Well, we're grateful that you are able to do that work for people in Cayuga County. Can you tell us more about the programs that utilize the United Way donor dollars and how those dollars are used?
Sure. So our prevention education program, we receive deficit funding from the state, and that provides enough funding for us to provide usually our staff to the schools. However, with the growth of the COSER, they're kind of, some of them are wearing dual hats, where they're intervention counselors. That's a different credential, as well as providing education. So not only did we have to increase our staff, but that, and bringing on Auburn, the size of Auburn School District is equivalent to the other 6 schools. So the materials that are needed for the United Way, or for the programs in the evidence-based programs, those are not something we can copy because they're copyrighted. So we have to purchase those materials through the program that's evidence-based, and United Way dollars help to support those programs for the education component. In the clinic, one of the things being an OASIS provider and not-for-profit is we do not turn anybody away for inability to pay. So if someone doesn't have insurance, or they're unemployed or anything along those lines, we work with them to try to get them connected with social services and Medicaid or insurance providers. However, there are gaps where people have an inability to pay, and United Way dollars help with that to offset that cost.
That's good. That's good to know. Is there a story that you could share without sharing any personally identifying details that illustrates the impact of your work?
Oh, there's so many. And it's hard to make them not identifiable when they're so successful. But I want to say that we have most of our employees are somehow connected to the recovery community, whether it's themselves or family or friends. Everybody seems to have been touched, by addiction in their life. And so we've had a few, not just one or two, a few or more employees that have actually grown through our program, that have grown from being a patient to peers to counselors to going on to greater, bigger things, and have really found great success. So, and one of the things that we see in some of our trends in the schools too is that we are seeing a few trends where students are making healthier decisions, more so than maybe their parents did, and we think that has a direct impact of the prevention education that we're providing in the schools.
Yes. I think that's one thing that a lot of the public sometimes misunderstands, is how far-reaching the effects of substance use disorder can be, and how many people it really affects.
Yeah, there's a statistic that says that somebody's substance use disorder affects a minimum of 5 people around them. And that could be their children, their coworkers, their boss, their school, their church, community. And it's emotional effects as well as physical effects.
Yeah. So that prevention piece and education piece is so vitally important.
It really is.
How does United Way support help your organization fulfill its mission beyond funding?
Oh, just by helping us keep our doors open and our services provided. I mean, part of our mission is to make sure that people are living healthier lives and getting the resources they need to make that happen in all facets of their life. So the United Way overall supports that mission just by supporting us.
What changes or needs have you seen emerging in the community over the past year?
There seems to be a lot more very noticeable mental health issues within not just our adult population, probably, with some effect from COVID, but certainly our school-based adolescents and students. And for whatever reason, students at this age seem to be, having to grow up a lot quicker or exposed to so much more, which is very anxiety producing. So we see a lot more anxiety and depression in our youth. We also see the impacts of their parents or their family's substance use disorder on the students. So more so where once upon a time, 30 years ago, we were servicing students in the schools or young people for their substance use disorders. And now we're seeing more and more that are impacted by their family substance use disorder. The legalization of marijuana has not really helped with that issue. And, a lot of people don't see that as a detriment, and alcohol is legal too. So it doesn't mean that people don't abuse it.
Right.
So marijuana is very abused, and the impact of that on our children has been detrimental.
Well, it's good that you're able to be in the schools and work with our youth and try to overcome some of those huge challenges. What are the biggest challenges your agency is facing right now, whether financial, operational, or community-based?
Keeping our staff healthy, not just physically in flu season, but emotionally as well. There's a lot of need for helping the helpers, and I don't think people realize that. One of my staff members said to me yesterday, do they realize how hard we work? The toll that making frequent CPS reports takes on my staff is really, it's just sad. And the United Way, we were able to receive a mini grant from the United Way last year and did some mental health support, emotional wellness for our staff. And we hope to do more of that in the future because it's very needed for them, for how hard they work, helping the helpers.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more on their plate. So we could use twice as many staff we have to provide, quality service all the time to our patients. And I'm just so proud of everything our staff does every single day because Chad has an exceptional retention rate. We're very proud of that. We have people that have been with our agency for 42 years in prevention, 26 years in administration, and I've been there 18 years. My program director over 15 years, counselors 10 to 15, 18 years. So we have great staying power. So we work really hard to take care of our staff so that our staff can take care of our community.
And I think that the longevity of your staff can be so helpful because you can build those relationships in the community, but also how it's such difficult work. So it really is probably a testament to all your hard work and working with your staff and supporting them that they are able to remain in those positions so long. So, where do you see the greatest opportunity for growth or impact over the next few years?
I think for us, we would like to expand into providing additional mental health services to our patients. We have a dual diagnosed program which serves patients with both mental health as well as substance use disorder issues. But the field in behavioral health is so evolving, and we're treating more and more people with identifiable mental health issues. So our staff are primarily credentialed alcohol and substance use disorder counselors. They don't have backgrounds in mental health or social work or clinical counseling, things like that. So we would like to expand to do more of that, but also whatever we can do to provide the evidence-based programming that is really helpful in the field. Trauma-informed care has been a big thing in the last few years, and being able to provide that treatment to people and seeing the outcome of how they benefit from that has been really rewarding as well.
That's great. Can you share a little bit about what those outcomes might be?
For people to be able to identify maybe a premorbid personality, which is, how they were before their trauma, and then identifying coping skills and how they deal with that trauma moving forward, and everyday life skills that they put into their daily life to be able to, for coping. It's developing coping skills and identifying that the trauma doesn't define you, and there are different ways to respond to those things.
That's great.
So that's a high-level overview.
How can community members get involved, whether through volunteering, donations, or spreading the word?
Gosh, that's a tough question. Volunteers are tough for Chad because we have so many almost barriers to volunteers as far as approval, background checks, and they have to have liability insurance. And, you know, we do have students that we do internships with of various colleges. We've had Syracuse University students, Lemoyne students, Fordham University, Binghamton. So for them to be able to do internships with us and the colleges sending students to do internships with us has been really wonderful. Not only does it help us out, but it also, I think, is so important for anyone going to any counseling type of field to have this background in substance use disorder. And I feel like because I'm a social worker, if I hadn't done the KSAC route along with being a social worker, there's not a lot of this discussed in social work school unless you take specific classes in alcoholism or substance use. So I really encourage social work students to get involved in to do at least one of their practicums or internships in substance use disorder, because it really identifies when a family is having an issue. If you're looking at systems of care or family systems therapy, sometimes they're just missing the boat when they don't realize that the substance use disorder is the primary issue. They're dealing with all the Band-Aids that have been put on. So I think that's primary. We've talked about doing a volunteer wish list, or not a volunteer wish list, but like an online wish list for some of the materials that we need, because as I mentioned earlier, the need for our materials has significantly grown, and in some areas funding's really been cut. So that really causes a hardship for us to be able to have everything that we need to provide to our students. So wish lists of, you know, even when we give them little pencils or bracelets and incentives for participating in our program, those are really important to the kids. So, and they don't cost a lot, but when it's not in the budget, you know, so Amazon wish lists, you know, incentive items, those are all beneficial.
You mentioned interns and how important it might be for someone who is, you know, pursuing an education in this kind of background. If someone wanted to intern with your organization, what steps might they need to take to do that?
They can send me an email or call me at the office, and usually the program director or myself will do the interview, but it's like hiring an employee. They send a resume, they have an interview, they go through the background check, which is an OCFS background check for Family and Children's Services, as well as a criminal background check in New York State, and those are required by New York State OASIS for us to have anybody in our building. So, and then we have them shadow for the most of the hours of the semester that they're required to be there, and we treat them very much like an employee, which we've gotten really positive feedback on, because we're not just having them file papers. They get to do everything that our staff does.
Yeah, and that's probably really important to them, so they get real world experience. That's great. Are there any annual events or program initiatives you'd like to share and let people know about?
We don't have anything that we do annually. We haven't done any fundraising, or you can cut that out, but we haven't done any fundraising or annual things like that. And the last 3 years has been a lot of stabilization with having executives that have retired after 40 years and having to move us into the 21st century. It's been a lot of work.
Well, thank you for doing all the work in the community that you do. If you had one more staff member or resource, what would you want most? You said your Amazon wish list, but what's your agency's wish list? Is there anything you
to
really
clone
need?
people? Gosh, you know, looking right now to hire a firm to help us be more fiscally organized has been something that we're really looking forward to, so that we're all getting a better education. Right now we're so small that we have a lot of people that are the only person who knows how to do their thing. So we're in the process of cross-training and making sure that we don't have that for people to be stuck not being able to take time off because payroll has to be run or our supervisor has to be on duty. So having more staff would be an ultimate dream, but we do what our budget allows, and people work really hard to make things happen.
Well, thank you so much for all the hard work that you're doing out in the community. It's very much appreciated. Thank you for sharing your insight and your time with us today, and for everything your agency does to support individuals and families in Cayuga County. To learn more or to get involved, you can visit chadcounseling.org or unitedwayofcayugacounty.org. And thank you for watching this episode of Conversations with United Way. We'll see you next time.